It's hard to imagine modern football without big money. Though it's good to have talented youngsters and a team spirit, without proper facilities, mindful transfer policy and money from sponsors, a team is extremely unlikely to win trophies. Many clubs are owned by rich and powerful people who spare no expense. It may be just a game for some of them, while for some others it's the meaning of life, but all of them spend millions and millions on their clubs. This video by Goal24 is about the top 10 richest football club owners. But before we go on, this London club's financial situation was so bad that Ken Bates, the businessman, bought it for $1 in 1982. What club are we talking about? Guo Gan, Wolverhampton. The Chinese businessman founded Guangchang Technology Development Company back in 1992, using the money he had got from tutoring, as well as some help from the university. The consulting company worked with foreign firms willing to enter the Chinese market and got big pretty soon. But it was not how Guangchang made his money, no, it was Fosun Group, founded in 1994, that started investing in property and pharmaceuticals, the very company that bought Wolverhampton in 2016. Peter Kenyon, the former sports director for Chelsea and Manchester United, was the mediator. The offer did seem lucrative, yet there were doubts as Guo had disappointed for a while the year before, making his company suspend its work. Some said he was having problems with the Chinese authorities. They were persecuting those who had gotten rich during the previous government. Others claimed that it was concerning corruption. However, the deal went through and all the sides benefited from it. Wolves got stable funding, while Go bought quite a big club for as little as $60 million and got access to the British real estate market. Unlike many other Chinese owners, he didn't spend that much, as instead he put his trust in Jorge Mendes, the agent. It was him to make such a Portuguese team out of Wolverhampton. As a result, Wolves got back to the Premier League and established themselves as a competitive team. Guo Guangchang's net worth is £5.2 billion. Zhong Ding, Inter. A perfect example of a self-made billionaire. Zhang, the former literature teacher, opened an air conditioning shop in the mid-80s. He expected no quick profit, but thought that the economic reform would increase the living standards in China, while the warm climate would force people to buy air conditioners. And that's exactly what happened. Now Suning is a leading retailer with a revenue of €30 billion per year, and Zhang Jingdong is among the 30 richest people in China. He was the owner of Jiangsu Suning and has been owning Inter Milan since 2016, when he acquired more than 68% stakes for about €270 million. Everything was going fine at the beginning. The business was sound and Zhang was very involved. The new owners managed to double the attendance and were doing their best to find new sponsors. But the pandemic hit the club hard. First, Antonio Conte complained about the club being unable to buy the players he wanted. Then Jingdong announced that Suning, his company, would reduce the investment. Jiangsu Suning, the reigning champion of China, took the biggest hit. The club was dissolved. As for Inter, they had to let Lukaku and Hakimi go, as well as terminate Antonio Conte's contract. Now Jingdong is planning to sell the controlling stake to BC Partners, the British company. However, the sides still have a long way to go. As for the Chinese businessman's net worth, it is £6.2 billion. Nasser AlKhelaifi, Paris Saint-Germain. The biggest sportsman of them all, Nasser has been into sports since he was a child and was a professional tennis player back in the days, the first Qatari to take part in an ATP tournament. After he retired, he became the president of Qatar Tennis Federation. He has also been the director general for Al Jazeera Sports since 2006. This TV channel is now a part of the extremely profitable beIN Sports. AlKhelaifi is a board member of Qatar Investment Authority, the company that has been owning PSG since May 31, 2011. It was a tough deal. It took the sides half a year and a permission from Nicolas Sarkozy himself, but in the end the Qatari fund took a 70% stake. Since then, billions have been spent on star players and their salaries. It was enough to dominate France, but still not enough to win the main European trophy. However, Nasser does have a number of plans concerning France, as his beIN Sports has already become the country's biggest sports network. AlKhelaifi has pretty much got himself settled in Europe. He's now a member of the UEFA Executive Committee as the chairman of the European Club Association. Seems like football is more than just a game for him, as Nasser is determined to keep investing in PSG and sports broadcasting. His current net worth is £6.5 billion. Stanley Kroenke, Arsenal. Kroenke has been among the most successful American entrepreneurs for years. He's known for making money out of sports clubs, but real estate is how he began his journey. Then he married the heiress of Walmart, and his company got way bigger. But still he understood he could get more profit from sports, so the agency called Kroenke Sports and Entertainment was founded. It acquired some TV channels and radio stations, and Kroenke started investing in building sports arenas and was buying clubs, one after another. As for now, he owns Denver Nuggets, the NBA team, Colorado Rapids, the football team, Colorado Avalanche, the hockey club, and also the 40% share in Los Angeles Rams from the NFL. And of course, last but not least, Arsenal. Kroenke started purchasing their stocks in the mid-2000s and had quite a rivalry for the controlling stake with Russian businessman Alisher Usmanov. Why Arsenal? The Gunners always had a decent income as well as a worldwide fan base. Even though Usmanov was a big Arsenal fan and a generous owner, he sold the controlling stake for more than $600 million eventually. Later, Kroenke got himself the 97% share, and Arsenal lost all the motivation to compete for trophies. Their goal was a top 4 finish, but only for the sake of money from the Champions League. Meanwhile, the tickets went up in price almost twice, and in addition to all that, Kroenke's investments were nothing compared to other Premier League owners. That is why Arsenal fans hate him so much. However, he could have sold the club to a Spotify owner last summer, but it didn't happen. Unfortunately for Arsenal supporters. It's not like they care about their owner's net worth of £6.8 billion. He's too stingy after all. Philip Anschutz, Los Angeles Galaxy. What is Philip's secret? His father was doing oil production and decided where to dig by intuition. As strange as it may sound, his intuition did not fail him. Philip followed his father's footsteps and earned his first billion at the age of 28 as the company found oil in supposedly abandoned wells. That's how he made his fortune. Anschutz owns the Southern Pacific Railroad network and a company called Quest, one of the biggest telecommunications service providers. Now Philip is buying theater and cinema networks that are on the verge of bankruptcy. As for sports, he owns 3 football clubs and 1 hockey club, as well as a huge sports center. But his finest creation is Los Angeles Galaxy. Philip is often called the MLS father as he was one of the founders. It was him to start promoting the league by signing star players who are past their prime. It all started with David Beckham joining Galaxy. It brought Galaxy surplus and made them the first MLS club of a kind. Now the club has the biggest annual revenue in the MLS, the 3rd biggest in CONCACAF and the 7th biggest in America. Interestingly, Anschutz is hardly ever seen on a match. He lives in a small house and hasn't done a big interview since 1974. His employees describe him as a good boss, easy to get along with, fond of sports, though he prefers watching sports at home. The American's current net worth is £8.1 billion. Roman Abramovic, Chelsea. The current Chelsea owner is a very controversial one. Abramovic was accused of fraud and embezzlement many times, while he was also praised for doing charity and investing in sports. Roman has been doing business since 1980s. First there was trading and brokering, then he switched to oil trading. Abramovic had a political career as well. In 1999, he was elected to the state parliament and was the governor of Chukotka region in the 2000s. In Russia, Abramovic is famous for his luxurious yachts and planes, his civil case against Boris Berezovsky, another billionaire, and also for his divorce proceedings. Sports fans, however, know him as the owner of Chelsea. Roman Abramovich bought the club in 2003 and was obliged to cover their $80 million debt. He paid $60 million for the controlling stake to Chelsea Village, the previous owner. Thus, it cost Roman £140 million. It was the Premier League record at that time. Under his ownership, Chelsea has already won 20 trophies. That's 9 trophies more than they won in the previous 99 years. The fans do love the Russian owner. He has invested billions to make a top club out of Chelsea, and it was worth it. Before buying Chelsea, Abramovic wanted to buy CSKA Moscow, but the deal went wrong. Another thing about him is that he insisted on appointing Guo Gan as Russia head coach. It was Abramovic who paid Guo his salary and was covering all his expenses. Roman Abramovic's net worth is £9,600,000,000. Andrea Agnelli, Juventus. The uncrowned kings of Italy, the Agnelli dynasty is one of the most wealthy and successful families in Italy. It started with Giovanni Agnelli, who founded an automobile factory in Turin at the end of the 19th century, which is now widely known as Fiat, thanks to Gianni, his grandson. Giovanni Agnelli was also in charge of Juventus in the 1920s. No matter how busy he was, he always had time to look for new players to strengthen the squad. So we may say that Andrea, the current owner, had no choice. Juventus seems to be in his genes. Andrea Agnelli, the board member of Fiat and Exor, has been the Juventus chairman since 2010. As he stated, his chairman position is the testimony to his family unity as well as commitments to the club. However, it's not about Juventus only. Andrea Agnelli is a member of the UEFA Executive Committee. In 2020, he was elected as head of the European Clubs Association. Andrea has made Juventus the most financially stable club in Italy, even in times of crisis. The club has won 19 trophies since he was elected. Andrea's estimated net worth is £11 billion. Dietrich Mateschitz, RB Salzburg. The story of Mateschitz looks like a Hollywood film. Dietrich was not too keen on studying. He would rather go to a nightclub or travel. He wasn't fond of career either and was more like an ordinary employee at Blendax. But then Dietrich was on a business trip to Thailand. In Bangkok, he saw restless rickshaw drivers drink from some cans with a Red Bull logo. That was a tonic mixture of caffeine, sugar and taurine. And then it hit him. Once Dietrich was back to Austria, he quit his job and started his business. It took his company Red Bull no more than a few years to bring him fortune. In the early 2000s, he got his eyes set on sports. First, he bought several Formula One teams. The most successful of them was Red Bull Racing. But Formula One wasn't enough. On April 6, 2005, Red Bull bought the football club called Austria. That made Mateschitz the most hated man in Austria at once. The fans didn't want to see their crest, their colors and the name of their club changed. But there was nothing they could do. Red Bull Salzburg's rapid progress made the club dominate Austria. In 3 years, another Red Bull came into being in Germany. The newly made club bought the place in the regional Liga from Markranstadt. Red Bull Leipzig followed in the elder brothers' footsteps, as now it's one of the biggest clubs in Germany. Even though Dietrich is one of the richest owners, he's not into splashing the cash. It's about well-planned development and investing in academies. His net worth is £15,700,000,000, still not enough to buy fans' love. Sheikh Mansour, Manchester City. Mansour bin Zayed Al Nahyan is a member of the royal family of Abu Dhabi, so his future was written in the stars. He got a bachelor's degree in political science in the United States in 1993. After that, he got back home to start a career in politics. He was appointed as chair of the UAE President's Office. That was one of many public posts he would hold. There are legends about his power in the Emirates. Some say he has the USA President's number on speed dial. You may believe it or not. What we know for sure is that Sheikh loves sports. Before he became the owner of City, he was fond of horse riding and won a number of endurance racing tournaments. He is the chairman of the UAE Equestrian and Racing Federation and it's Mansour to fund the annual road running competitions held in Abu Dhabi. But it was the year of 2008 that made him world famous as Abu Dhabi United Group bought Manchester City. Mansour stated that the team needed at least 22 world-class footballers to compete with the likes of Chelsea and Barcelona. Money was not an issue for him. Top players were needed to bring immediate success to City. The new owners have invested billions in the stadium, the academy, the signings and salaries. City Football Group is now owning 10 clubs from all over the world, the farm teams for Man City. All these expenses did pay off. City is a top club team with a bunch of Premier League titles, though they are yet to win the Champions League. The Sheikh's net worth is £23.2 billion. Mohammed bin Salman, Newcastle United. The news about the Sheikhs buying Newcastle came as a shock. The club is now owned by Mohammed bin Salman Al Saud, the head of the Saudi Sovereign Wealth Fund. Remember these names, you're going to hear of these men a lot. Bin Salman is the Crown Prince, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Defense of Saudi Arabia, not to mention his other positions. As for football, he has always had a dream of owning a Premier League club, and it has come true. The deal got approved only after Riyadh reassured the English that the Sovereign Wealth Fund is not state-owned. The Saudi have also resolved the piracy issue with the Premier League broadcast. The deal was worth $300 million, as indeed it was a huge one. There were other controversies. In October 2018, Jamal Khashoggi, the journalist who was criticizing the Saudi authorities, was murdered in the Saudi Arabian consulate in Istanbul. His dismembered body was transported to Saudi Arabia. Bin Salman was believed to be the one behind that assassination. 19 Premier League clubs objected to that deal and asked for an emergency meeting. It had no effect. The clubs were worried that the takeover could damage the league's image, and another reason was Bin Salman's fortune. It was more than 75% of all other Premier League clubs' owners combined. During the winter transfer window, more than €100 million were spent on transfers, not to mention the facilities, as it's now the priority. Newcastle is about to get the new stadium, the new training ground, and the new academy. That's something Mohammed bin Salman can easily afford, as his net worth is £320 billion. That's it for today. Which one of these owners surprised you the most? And also let us know about your expectations concerning Newcastle. Do you think they can surpass City and PSG? Let us know in the comments. See you soon.